within 1 week between September 20th and September 26th, 2024. All five were executed. There was Freddie Owens, who murdered a convenience store clerk in South Carolina in 1997. Marcellus Williams, charged for the fatal stabbing of a former reporter in Missouri in 1998. Travis Mullis, who was convicted of murdering his 3-month-old son in Texas in 2008. Alan Miller, charged with the murder of 3 people in a 1999 spree shooting in Alabama, and Emmanuel Littlejohn, charged with the robbery and killing of a convenience store owner in Oklahoma. Here are their stories. Freddie Owens had a troubled upbringing, including being a foster kid at a young age and going to jail early on. But the crimes that landed him in death row were horrendous. Freddie Owens was convicted of murdering a convenience store clerk in South Carolina in 1997. On November 1st, he and 2 friends planned an armed robbery in Greenville. Irene Graves, as a result, who was working at the convenience store, was killed. Owens and the men entered the convenience store and held the female clerk at gunpoint and shot her when she couldn't open the safe. She died from a gunshot wound to the head, and they fled with $37.29. Irene was a single mother of 3 children. Less than 12 hours after being convicted of Graves' murder on February 16, 1999, Owens killed another inmate, Christopher Brian Lee, while in prison. Owens faced a moratorium on executions in South Carolina since 2011 due to a lack of lethal injection drugs. In 2021, new laws allowed the use of electric chair and firing squad as alternatives. However, in September 2023, South Carolina acquired drugs for lethal injection, and he allowed his attorney to decide how he would die. On September 6th, 2024, his lawyer selected lethal injection. 2 days before his execution, Owens' lawyers filed an emergency motion based on his co-defendant's statement claiming he falsely accused Owens of being the shooter. It was too late, though. And for his final meal, Owens requested 2 cheeseburgers, French fries, a well-done ribeye steak, 6 chicken wings, 2 strawberry sodas, and a slice of apple pie. His final words were, "Bye." Then there is Marcellus Williams, whose case is a sobering reminder of the complexities surrounding the death penalty. Despite public pleas for clemency, on September 24th, 2024, he was executed by lethal injection at the Eastern Reception Diagnostic and Correctional Center in Missouri. Here's what happened. Felicia Gale, a 42-year-old reporter from St. Louis Post-Dispatch, was tragically found dead in her home, having suffered an extensive and brutal attack. Investigators determined that she had been stabbed up to 43 times with a butcher knife that had been taken from her kitchen. Marcellus was charged with Gale's murder. The prosecution presented a substantial amount of evidence during the trial, which included testimonies from various witnesses, including Williams' former cellmate and girlfriend. Further, a man testified that Williams had sold him Gale's stolen laptop, linking him directly to the burglary. More evidence included Williams' possession of items stolen from Gale's home. Williams maintained his innocence. While incarcerated, Williams converted to Islam, adopting the name Khalifa. He became known for his leadership qualities, serving as an imam and leading prayer in his cell block. Prior to his execution, he requested a final meal consisting of chicken wings and tater tots. Williams was accompanied to the execution room by an imam who provided spiritual support during his final moments. On January 29, 2008, Travis James Mullis reportedly drove away in his car with his 3-month-old son Elijah in the back seat after he argued with his girlfriend. He had just tried to sexually assault the daughter of his friend whom the couple lived with. After leaving with their son, Mullis proceeded to assault his sons sexually. When Elijah cried, Mullis strangled the infant, followed by stomping on his head several times, crushing his skull and leading to his death. The murder of Elijah Mullis was regarded as one of the most shocking crimes to happen in Texas. During the sentencing trial of Mullis, several children who Mullis previously molested were summoned as witnesses. His defense asked for sympathy due to his traumatic childhood. His adoptive father sexually abused him from the age of 3 until he was 6. Mullis received psychiatric treatment for several psychological problems, including suicidal and homicidal behavior. Mullis reportedly had symptoms of hearing voices and getting flashbacks of his childhood sexual abuse. After waiving his appeals, Mullis was executed on September 24, 2024. Inmates in Texas no longer make last meal requests, so Mullis received his meal from the same menu as any other inmate. Mullis thanked and apologized to his loved ones. Then, there is Emmanuel Littlejohn in Oklahoma. His case was complicated. Was his execution moral? I'm a bit conflicted. Is it fair to execute someone if you are not certain which perpetrator fired the weapon? Here's what happened. On June 19, 1992, 31-year-old convenience store owner Kenneth Mears was gunned down during a robbery in Oklahoma City. 2 men, Glenn Bethany and Emmanuel Littlejohn, were arrested and charged with his murder. Littlejohn, who had a long criminal record, had recently been released from prison, while Bethany was a drug dealer. Both men owed money to a dealer and decided to rob Mears for cash. The case was controversial due to a lack of direct evidence identifying who actually killed Mears. Littlejohn maintained his innocence during appeals, which were rejected. After losing a clemency plea, he was executed by lethal injection on September 26, 2024, at the Oklahoma State Penitentiary. Before his execution, Littlejohn requested a final meal of meat pizza, Coca-Cola, and cheesecake. He had last meetings with his mother and stepfather and made phone calls to his daughter and granddaughter. Before losing consciousness, he told his family, "Everything is going to be okay. I love you." Alan Eugene Miller had a controversial execution with the use of nitrogen gas. This method is criticized by some for being cruel, inhumane, or degrading punishment. Let's talk about his crimes. On August 5, 1999, an ordinary workday at a heating and air conditioning distributor in Alabama turned deadly when Alan Eugene Miller shot and killed 2 co-workers, Lee Holdbrooks and Christopher Yancey. But he wasn't done yet. Miller then drove to his former workplace and took the life of his supervisor, Terry Jarvis. His motive? He believed these men were spreading rumors about him being gay. A psychiatrist diagnosed Miller with severe mental illness, but the court still sentenced him to death. His first execution date was set for September 22, 2022, but prison staff failed to establish an IV line for lethal injection in time, leading to a postponement. After filing a lawsuit, Alabama decided to use nitrogen gas for Miller's execution. On September 26, 2024, at Holman Correctional Facility, Miller was executed using the gas and was pronounced dead at 6:38 p.m., his final meal: a hamburger steak, baked potato, and fries. His last words? "I didn't do anything to be in here." Miller visibly struggled during his execution, gasping for air for several minutes. A grim end to his life. What do you think about the use of nitrogen hypoxia in executions? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. That is the story of the 5 men executed in such a short time in September 2024. Each case is so different with its own set of controversies. Do you think any or all of these men should have been spared? What are your thoughts on capital punishment? Please take the time to like and subscribe if you learned anything at all. Thanks for watching.